She wanted to try other men before marriage, so I ended it and walked away. I remember the exact moment she said it. We were sitting across from each other at a quiet restaurant in Greenwich, Connecticut, the kind of place where people whispered even when they laughed. Sophia Whitmore leaned forward, her fingers wrapped around her wine glass, her expression calm in a way that made my stomach tighten. "I think before we get married," she said softly, "I should experience other men." I didn't respond immediately, not because I didn't hear her, but because my mind refused to accept that the woman I had spent 4 years building a life with had just said that out loud. "You're serious?" I finally said. She nodded. "It's not about replacing you, Ethan," she added quickly. Her voice carried that controlled, rational tone she used when she believed she was being reasonable.
"It's about knowing, about not having regrets later." I leaned back in my chair, studying her face like I was seeing it for the first time. Sophia Whitmore. Elegant, calculated, always certain she was making the smartest choice in every room she entered. And right now, she genuinely believed this was a logical request. "So, you want to sleep with other men?" I said plainly. She winced slightly at the wording. "When you say it like that, it sounds exactly what it is." She hesitated, then nodded again. "Yes." Silence stretched between us. The clinking of cutlery around us suddenly felt louder, sharper, more real than anything else in that moment. "Would you be okay with me doing the same?" I asked. Her eyes flickered. "That's different." I almost laughed. Different. Of course it was different, because in her mind, this wasn't about fairness. It was about her fears, her curiosity, her control. I placed my hands flat on the table. "No." She blinked. No. I'm not interested in building a future with someone who needs to test other options before choosing me. Her expression hardened slightly. "You're being rigid." "I'm being clear." She leaned back, crossing her arms. "So, that's it?" "That's it." She stared at me, waiting for hesitation, for negotiation, for compromise. But there was none, because something inside me had already shifted. Quietly, irreversibly. I stood up, pulled my wallet out, and placed cash on the table. "Take care, Sophia." And just like that, I walked away. Let me ask you something. If someone you loved asked for this, would you try to understand them? Or would you walk away like... Sophia didn't reach out at first. That didn't surprise me. She wasn't the kind of person who chased. She waited, observed, calculated. But then one evening, my phone buzzed. Her name lit up the screen. Sophia Whitmore. I stared at it for a long time before answering. "Hello?" Her voice was softer than I remembered. "I didn't expect you to pick up." I almost didn't. There was a pause. "I've been thinking," she said. "I imagine you have. I didn't handle that conversation well." That's one way to put it. She exhaled slowly. "I want to meet." I hesitated, not because I wanted to go back, but because part of me needed closure. "Fine," I said. We met at a quiet cafe in Stamford. This time, she looked different. Not physically, but emotionally. Less composed, less certain. "I made a mistake," she said, as soon as we sat down. I didn't respond. "I thought I needed to explore," she continued. "But all it did was make me realize what I already had." I studied her carefully. "What did you explore, Sophia?"
She looked down at her hands. I went on dates. Just dates. She hesitated, and that hesitation told me everything. I thought it would feel exciting, she admitted, but it didn't. I leaned back in my chair. And now I want us back. There it was, simple, direct, as if relationships were switches you could turn off and on. As if nothing happened, I asked. I'm willing to do whatever it takes, she said quickly. I'll cut off everyone. I'll prove it to you. I let her words settle. Then I shook my head. No. Her face fell. Ethan, please. You didn't just make a mistake, I said calmly. You revealed how you see commitment. That's not fair, she said, her voice rising slightly. I was confused. You were curious, I corrected. And curiosity doesn't disappear just because the experiment didn't go the way you expected. Tears filled her eyes. I chose you. No, I said quietly. You came back to me. There's a difference. And in that difference, everything changes. She reached across the table, but I didn't move. Don't do this, she whispered. I already did. I stood up again. Second time, different place, same ending. But this time, something felt clearer, stronger. Months passed. Life moved on, slowly at first, then faster than I expected. I focused on my work, reconnected with old friends, started building a routine that didn't revolve around someone else. And then, one evening, I met someone new. Her name was Claire Davenport. She wasn't like Sophia. She didn't analyze every emotion. She didn't treat relationships like strategic decisions. She was present, honest, grounded in a way that felt peaceful. We started talking and seeing each other. And for the first time in a long time, I didn't feel like I had to prove my worth to someone. I just existed. And that was enough. And then, one night, everything shifted again. I was at a private event in Manhattan, a networking dinner, the kind where conversations are polite, but intentions are always deeper. And that's when I saw her, Sophia Whitmore, standing across the room. But she wasn't alone. She was with a man I recognized, Daniel Hargrove, a well-known venture capitalist, older, influential, exactly the kind of man Sophia would align herself with. Our eyes met briefly. She froze just for a second. Then she looked away. But something about the way she held onto his arm, the way her smile seemed slightly forced, it didn't match the image she was trying to project. Later that evening, Daniel approached me. "Ethan Carter," he said, with a polite smile. "I've heard about you. Good things, I hope?" He chuckled lightly. "Depends who you ask." My gaze shifted briefly towards Sophia. She was watching us carefully. "Interesting woman," Daniel added casually. "Sophia?" I didn't respond. "She has a way of making people believe she knows exactly what she wants," he continued. "But I've learned something." I raised an eyebrow. "What's that?" "She's always searching." That word hit differently. Searching. Not choosing, not committing, just searching. And in that moment, everything clicked. The conversation at the restaurant, the request, the return. It was never about me. It was about her inability to be satisfied with certainty, to sit with a decision and honor it. She didn't want a partner. She wanted options. And suddenly, I felt nothing. No anger, no regret, just clarity. I nodded politely and stepped away. Later that night, as I left the venue, I saw Sophia standing alone near the exit. She looked like she wanted to say something, but she didn't. And neither did I, because some conversations don't